Hey, Nate.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going all right. That's for sure.
We're hanging in there.
I'm Riley Queen. I am one of the co-founders of Moonflower Hemp.
And I'm Macie Queen. I am also one of the co-founders of Moonflower Hemp.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, right off the bat, same last name. You guys, are you related?
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're sisters.
Excellent. Well, family business. Did you guys all start together in the business, or did you guys kind of begin to form over time?
Yeah, we all started together. It was a venture that kind of took place right after the Farm Bill passed in 2018. And it has been a business rooted in family from the very beginning. So
yeah, our grandma is actually responsible for coming up with our gummy recipe. And, that's one of our top selling products moving forward. So we really like to tout that this is truly from the hands of the Queen family and from the dirt of West Virginia.
Yeah, for sure. And also my parents are heavily involved in all facets. So we like to tout that we were founded from 3 generations of Appalachian women, which is a really cool thing to be able to kind of tout to the public.
I love that. Well, normally I do these episodes with complete strangers that I haven't met. So I got to give everybody in the audience context that we've met before and we worked together on the back end of things.
Yes.
So that part. And also we connected because I was a customer of yours way before we even met. So that taffy that you guys have, as well as your drinks, I mean, that is the taffy's what sold me. I mean, I love saltwater taffy. But you take that to any saltwater taffy place, regardless of the fact that it has, hemp-derived THC in it, and it stands next to any saltwater taffy on the shelf.
Well, thank you.
It really is handmade. It's I think, and that shows. It's got a labor of love to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Sometimes I go in the edible production room and I'm like, would you guys make a virgin batch for me so I can eat as many as I want? Well,
I've said that to a lot of people. I was like, you guys are going to love these just because of what they'll do for you. I said, but you'd like them if they didn't do that as well. That's how I introduce it to people. And also give you the other connecting point is I'm sitting in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia as we speak. So it's also nice to finally have some fellow mountaineers on the show.
Yes, for sure. For sure.
Well, so let's talk about you guys. It's a family business. So take me all the way back. Give me the year and paint the scene of where you guys are the first time the conversation about Moonflower started.
Yes. So just to give everyone context of where Macie and I started and where our family started, our dad is actually a retired police officer. So you can imagine what the conversation was like when we were pitching this business idea.
Yes.
But he has truly come full circle. And believe it or not, he was the one. We always told him, like, we want to be in this industry. We want to get into cannabis. But when the 2018 Farm Bill happened, my dad's also an entrepreneur, and he came to us. And he was like, do you think that we should get into it? And me and Macie were like, yes, I do think that we should get into it.
And at that time, he was interested in bulk oil sales. So it was kind of a venture that started where we planted 15,000 hemp plants, and we are not farmers. So, I like to call myself a farmer now, but at the time, not farmers. Yeah, we've had some gardens growing up where we grew like tomatoes and a couple strawberries. But yeah, so we started all in for the bulk oil sales, planted 15,000 plants. And that was more just throwing seeds out and waiting and then harvesting them when the time came around. But Riley and I came to our dad and we said, give us 1 acre of this farm. Like, let us have a couple rows of plants that we want to baby them. We want to use our own kind of
natural practices, things like that.
And just let us see what happens, right?
Yes.
And it ended up that COVID kind of hit right around this time, and the bulk oil sales, that market was really saturated and kind of tanked, but our acre of the farm skyrocketed. So thus Moonflower was born. And so we always kind of joke with my dad that it was his idea to begin with, but if he would have never let us get our hands in the dirt, then we wouldn't be where we are today. So
it all started with 1 acre.
Yes, just
Wow.
1 acre.
And how many acres are you guys taking up now?
it's kind of every year we kind of change the amount of plants that we grow, and lots of trial and error has happened, but we do around 2,000 plants every year now, which is
Wow.
so much more enjoyable than 15,000 plants.
Yes, we know we don't need that bulk oil mindset anymore. We can just walk around and sing to the plants instead and really take our time with them. So we are happy about that. Farm work isn't, or that first year of farm work was not for the weak-hearted, for sure.
Yeah.
That we have a family farm outside of Pittsburgh, but it's not used at all. So I always am very hesitant to say that we have a family farm, because people always then are like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, we just do about 5,000 cloves of garlic a year. I was like, that's about as much as that 100 acres produces.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a nice farm too.
Yeah,
exactly. Lots of deer.
First time this year, so
yeah,
it was cool.
Lots of garlic. But I want to talk a little bit about the fact that you guys are a little different and unique in the best way possible, because you're vertically integrated.
Yes.
So you guys aren't just a brand that's in this industry. So talk a little bit about why that was important when the idea came about, when you're talking to your dad. Why was your first reaction to start digging and tilling and getting your hands dirty, and not the business part? And I don't mean that from a negative. I actually mean that it's a complicated path that you guys chose. So why was that important to you?
It was important to us because we foresaw the future. I think here we were moving intuitively. We knew that this industry just got opened up to the public, and obviously cannabis carries a lot of stigma behind it. And I think a way to kind of mend that bridge between the consumer and the business owner is to have that level of transparency of, okay, here is your product in the dirt this summer. Here are the practices that we are using. Here is our CO2 extractor where we are extracting this. Here is our lab certified chemist. That is also a woman on our team. We have the ability now to be at a level of transparency that most companies in this industry don't have the privilege of doing. And I think that really went home with a lot of consumers out there and developed a level of trust that maybe not a lot of brands were able to do.
Another thing that made that sort of an easy route for us to take is my dad, both of my parents, like she said, very entrepreneurial family. And when he saw how much we loved growing and how much steam we kind of built all at once, he was all in for us. He was ready to invest in our own CO2 extractor, our own winterization process, our own roto evaporator. I mean, he went full tilt for us, and we're forever thankful for that. But so we were able to kind of fill every facet of Moonflower, and not just the grow, not just the branding. We were able to kind of start from the beginning and tick all the boxes that it took to get where we are now.
Yeah, and that created a craft product here. So I'm very excited that Moonflower is able to be and tout that we're a craft cannabis business in its truest form, for sure.
So that's another piece is, so you guys are growing, you guys are farming, you guys are also creating consumer packaged goods. Walk through the different categories that you guys currently have products in that consumers can purchase on your website and find on the shelves.
We have so many categories. We really took this and ran with it, but we have everything: CBD products, CBD isolate products, so THC free products that people that need to pass a drug test and things like that can still enjoy the benefits of cannabis. We have Delta-9 THC, obviously. We've got pet products. We've got obviously our smokables straight off the farm, hand trimmed. Things like topicals. We've got it all. We fill every category.
Yeah, we always joke that we have lots of ideas and we're always bringing new things to the table, but we have a hard time letting things go. You know what I mean? So it feels like we're just ever growing, and we're like, we love this product so much. I don't know how we could ever let it go. So we kind of have our hands in a little bit of everything when it comes to the cannabis market.
Well, it's one of the things that, I tout moving into this part of the portfolio and adding the cannabis and spending the last 20 years in the alcohol space is I don't bring brands into my portfolio that don't have their lab tests and don't have scientists to review everything. So when all this went down and we went into a lot of conversations this week about the new legislation passing and the new issues that we have ahead of us, and you know, it was so interesting to watch the infighting that happened.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to watch that because, you know, in the beer world where I come from, you know, you have big beer and you have craft beer. It's like, and then you have flavored and alternative beverages. So everything's categorized and everybody works together for the greater good of the industry. But one of the scariest things, to be really honest with you, was seeing that, because it's 363 days from now, or 362 now. That's not a long time to mend whatever division that is.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the biggest hurdle is some people getting their head out of their ass and realizing that like everybody has to be speaking together, because otherwise, and I hate to jump right into it, but it's one of those things where you guys can speak to this because you are in every category. So you've dealt with, you know, the beverage side of things, the gummy side of things, the flower side of things, and those bad actors that are out there. And I can talk about it because I don't have them in my portfolio, and you guys don't produce those types of things.
Right.
And at the same time, I want people to understand, and I want to hear it from you guys, that's not something you're standing up and protecting.
Right.
You know, that's what I want everybody to understand, is that's not what you're protecting.
Yes.
You want to be treated like the medical marijuana industry, with the tracking and with that, like, welcome it all. Welcome the regulation to that. So talk a little bit about what that kind of means to you and what it's been like in the past few years dealing with, you know, those that don't care. I mean, I'll compliment you guys as well. In your cans of your lemonade, it says, you know, 21 and over, not for children. Like, you guys take a next step and you put it on your packaging. So talk a little bit about why you guys did that and what it all meant to you from the beginning.
Well, our tagline from the very beginning was regulate, don't eliminate. This is something that would legitimize this industry. And we also realize that 26 states in the United States still do not have access to cannabis in the way that all of these legalized states do, you know, and the way that we legitimize this industry is regulating it. And we want that. We invite it. Bad actors are also our competition, and it's also making people not trust the industry in ways that we like. It gives us a bad name, you know, whereas there's good actors like us and a lot of brands that we work with that, you know, have the proper things on the packaging, require 21 plus, things like that. And, you know, those seem like such simple solutions to be implemented by government. And it's in a way that everybody could benefit. So that's been something that like we've believed in from the very beginning, for sure.
For sure. And, you know, there are so many companies out there that are kind of like ruining it for the people that are doing things right. And that's very frustrating. And in an industry that is so stigmatized, we want to be the people that are crossing our T's, dotting our I's in every way, shape, and form. We want it to be that when the Department of Ag comes here to do their inspection, they're like, oh, damn, you guys actually kind of, you know, are
doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's frustrating whenever we have people that will come in and they're kind of skeptical about using the products because they're like, oh, I got this one pack of gummies at a gas station and it didn't do anything for me. This is snake oil, that type of thing. So it's people like that are cutting corners and kind of just producing things that aren't going to give people the desired effect. You're not going to bring people relief. We want to kind of be the trailblazers that are doing it right and making sure that we have all of every area covered. That way, you know, we can offer something that people can rely on and kind of get away from that stigma.
When I first got in the industry from alcohol, I made an assumption that there weren't bad actors out there. And I got in with a couple brands, and it only lasted 6 months before I realized that they were bad actors.
Yeah.
They didn't have the right paperwork. They didn't have like the COAs looking weird and stuff like that.
Right.
And I ended up firing them, like two different clients, and firing them. And I can proudly say that because that's what it meant to me. It wasn't about the money. And I was trying to get in the industry, but it wasn't to give up my principles and what it was for that. What I also want to lead to is my work in the craft beer industry is very reflective of this. So if you go back to like 2008 to 2012, we had a surge of breweries come into the market, but they weren't necessarily business people. They didn't understand how to commercially scale the sanitizing and the different things that were necessary for going from homebrew to scaled production. And so I was sitting as a brand manager at a distributor, and we did about 3.5 million cases a year. So we were pumping out a lot of volume, and we were also dealing with a lot of recalls. And we had products that were going into secondary fermentation and different things like this, which everybody we'd sweep it up really quickly because that's how it happens in a regulated market. You track your product, you know where it is. When you have a recall, you can pick it up and you can get it back and you're done. And that's how we would operate. And that's kind of where my brain still works today, is where this can go. Like, this is not creating from scratch. You can directly take a blend of the way alcohol is distributed to the public at a commercial scale and take a blend of the way medical marijuana is tracked, fuse the two together, and have flawless regulation as far as how this goes with controllables and, you know, accountability. And I think the irony is that when we speak about this and you see the things in the media where the alcohol industry is against the marijuana industry, when I'm going to be doing a lot of these interviews with other people also in the brewing industry, and next week on Monday, we're sitting down in Harrisburg in Pennsylvania with lawmakers as well as the Brewers of Pennsylvania, the Pennsylvania Tavern Association, and the Malt Beverage Beer Distributors Association of Pennsylvania. So we're going to have a 48-hour period where we're literally, all we're going to be talking about is how to fuse this together for the state of Pennsylvania and accelerate this to offset what's about to happen on a federal level. What I'm trying to say with this is, when you take the big beer out of it, because big beer is 100% invested in quelling this. I'm going to say it, not banning this. What I believe is, and this is from my experience, because I've seen them do this before, they want to chokehold the industry so the valuations of brands like yours is low, so that they can acquire brands over the next 362 days and position themselves and then pay the lobbying in order for it to be reopened so that they'll be positioned correctly in the industry. That's my personal assumption, and that's 21 years of experience in the alcohol industry. That's how corporations play in every industry. It's just a fact of where we are in America. What I'm getting at is, craft breweries also need to step up and support you. And because if you look at their numbers, it's declining. If they could have that external portfolio item inside, whether it's them producing it themselves or it's them being able to carry your product, because in Pennsylvania and other states, you can't sell THC products in the same places you can sell alcohol. So it's one of those things where once everybody understands how they play their role in this and how they can benefit from this, there's more industries than just hemp that have something to lose in the long term of this.
Absolutely. That's pretty brilliant. Honestly, I didn't even think about, how we could make relationships with craft brewers throughout the state, because West Virginia, unfortunately, lacks a lot of voice here. There's not a ton of players in this game here. I mean, obviously, we have retailers and things like that. But as far as on a manufacturing scale, there's not a ton happening here. And to have as many people on our team in this is so important. And, we have great relationships with our local craft brewers. And we really do. And
I'm sure a lot of them are customers.
Yes, we are not an anti-alcohol brand. Do we think that cannabis can leave you with less of a hangover? Absolutely. But we support the people, and that's what I want to see thrive here. And you're right, unity will make something happen, and seeing those two industries working together on this would be such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, the way that some craft breweries will also have a root beer on the menu, or bars will have a mocktail menu. It just provides, more choices and an alternative. They don't have to be against each other. They can just be offered in the same space to be able to cover as many of the clientele and demographic as possible while still operating. And it doesn't have to be one versus the other. They can work together and just provide options for everyone.
Well, I think for my personal experience, I'm coming up next month. Will be 3 years of sober from alcohol. And that was a big thing for me. Like, I've been working in the industry since I graduated high school, and I had to, because it went from being recreational fun to a problem. And for me, that was it. But what I speak from the heart from, and I will be on Monday and Tuesday as well, is your products got me into my sobriety.
Yes.
Like, your products, Athletic, Brewdog, Delta, Heyday, Recess, all those guys are what gave me those products that I could go back into bars. I spent a year not even entering a bar because I didn't think I could. And then my year 2 of sobriety, I reemerged back into the bars and the breweries again. And that's, for me, I know for a fact, there are lots of people in the same position I'm in, that if they could have that tool to help them get over that bridge and going from cold turkey to a life of sobriety from alcohol. And I'm not speaking about we need abstinence from alcohol. And I say this a lot in the podcast. I have alcohol in my brand and I support alcohol. But there are people like me where alcohol became a problem and there needs to be something else other than, well, I guess you're going to have iced tea and you're going to have soda for the rest of your life. You know, great.
Yeah,
I've drank a lot of soda at 11 p.m. at a bar now. But the best nights I've ever had are when I can have a non-alcoholic beer or a THC product at the bar while all my friends are also drinking alcohol. And then all of us get to enjoy the night together. We don't have to sit silently texting each other the next day about our nights because the sober guy was afraid to come in the bar because he didn't have anything to put in his hand.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a big thing that I want to emphasize to current legislation. You know, we have these big alcohol industries kind of lobbying against this because so many people are using THC as an alternative. But I want to say, just because you're taking it away doesn't mean that people are going to be like, well, time to start drinking again.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
They're not just going to, maybe some, but they're not just magically going to be like, well, now that I can't do it, I'm going to start drinking beers again.
Yes.
You know,
We saw this happen in the early 1900s, and that's where bathtub gin came about. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just don't,
Yeah,
I
and
don't
that goes-
understand why they don't have that frame of thinking. You know,
Yeah.
they're just going to find other ways to,
Consume.
yeah, exactly.
It's something where we do this thing as leadership in government where it's like, if it's not my vice, then nobody else can have it.
Mhm.
And it's such a weird thing because you see it with all those people, like each one's defends different things. And it's amazing to me. I don't know. I've been involved in advocacy and civil rights and all kinds of things for such a long time. Ever since I was in middle school, I was in school board meetings, on arts councils, like defending different townships and all kinds of stuff. So it's been a part of my life. Where it comes amazing is where this even can be considered in light of the fact of how big this got.
Mhm.
And like how big the industry is as a whole and how hundreds of thousands of jobs depend on this now, where it's like to just be able to like slide it in a 48-hour period with no floor debates and no advocacy understanding. And that's the unfortunate shady part about the United States that none of us can really do. And on the flip side, let me also say it wouldn't be good of me to also say on the flip side, this has happened in positive ways. So in Pennsylvania, the medical marijuana industry in Pennsylvania got legalized, slipped into a transportation budget bill for the state.
Yeah.
So it's like, it works both ways. It's unfortunate that this one worked in the way it did. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Honestly, I think that we would truly benefit from just one-line bills. Just like a nice one topic bill. Let's debate on it, get her done. Debate on the next one, get it done.
Right.
You know,
It
I
seems
feel
like common sense too, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about, we'll step away from legislation and talk to me about the facility. And then also I want to see kind of the impact because you guys are based in West Virginia, but you do sell in other states. So kind of talk through on site, what people can experience if they come out to see you, and then in other states, looking out for your brands and where to find you and such.
Yeah, of course. So the first 4 years that we operated, I believe we were
Yes.
just online. So we just had a warehouse here in West Virginia that we would come in and fill orders, make our product, farm, all of that good stuff. But then we really gained a lot of
Traction.
Yeah, we
and-
gained a community of people that used our products, and
Mhm.
we wanted to be able to put a face to the name, and we wanted to be able to kind of meet these people and create an in-store experience. And that's what we did. So we got a place here on Main Street, a really, really awesome building. And the cool thing about it is our storefront is up front, but then you look down the hallway and it's this long hallway that houses our shipping facility, our gummy room, our lab, our kitchen. It's all in one. So I think that that's one of the cool things about coming here is you are quite literally able to walk down the hallway. We have windows into every room. We
Nice.
want you to watch them pour our gummies. We want you to see our lab tech in there making our tinctures and our salves. You know, it's so important to us for people to make that connection. And we also have a big mural down our hallway that explains our practices. It has pictures of the farm. You know, we wanted to paint a picture for people that come here of exactly what Moonflower is, the vertical integration. You know, you are able to come here and witness the production of the
Everything.
products that you consume. And I think that's just an unmatched type of thing that we offer. And speaking a little bit on to what we offer here, and yeah, we do ship to all 50 states, but West Virginia started as our priority and obviously still is our main priority. We are so passionate about the state that we live in. We are ride or die, West Virginia forever. And obviously, it's important to us that the whole nation has access to cannabis, right? But you know, we knew when we started Moonflower here in West Virginia that we could probably get by a lot easier with moving away and doing it somewhere that's not such a inherently red state and not somewhere that can tend to be a couple steps behind when it comes to legislation and things of that sort. So we decided, you know what, if we want things to get better here, we can't just leave and then expect it to happen. We have to make it happen. So that's why we opened our doors here in West Virginia, and we care about the people here so much and want them to have as much access to alternative medicine as possible.
Our next push is going to be on unity when it comes to this whole thing. And that's not just us in the alcohol industry. That is red and blue here. I think that, you know, it's really easy, especially right now, as divided as we are when it comes to this two-party system, to point fingers at each other and be like, oh, the Republicans did this. No, the Democrats did this. No, they did this.
Mm-hmm.
We are here as common people, American citizens, and that's what should be important here. And there's a lot more of us than there is them. And, you know, united we stand. For real.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you guys so much for your time today. I enjoy working with you outside of this as well, but I really enjoyed getting to know you guys a little bit better doing this. And the fact that you guys have this family business that's vertically integrated. And I had no realization of the transparency you guys have at the facility. So definitely make sure everybody gets out to Buchanan, West Virginia. Check out Moonflower. If you really want to know how it takes to make those products and what it takes to keep the lab testing and the scientists and the transparency and authenticity, Moonflower out in Buchanan, West Virginia.
Thank you,
Awesome.
Nate. It
Thank
truly
you.
means so much that you had us out here, and just your support, your advocacy. It means the world to us, and we really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just the beginning, guys. This is just the beginning.